Saving Churchaholics by Yeongook. The majority of larger churches tend to hire competent leaders to run programs that attract members. These churches have a buffet of programs. In this situation, some congregations are forced to become churchaholics. The term churchaholics means Christians who spend a lot of time and energy on things to do with church. Most churchaholics are apt to serve beyond their capacity, and thus they have a difficulty maintaining a balance between their working lives and church lives. We can imagine how conflicted Christians feel in this dilemma. Even as many church activities fill their nights and weekends, churchaholics still feel guilty for missing the other activities in the church. At the same time, within the workplace, they have little remaining energy to have quality relationships with work fellows, and they lose opportunities to lead colleges to Jesses. The concept of the churchaholic evokes the two women, Mary and Martha. Martha was distracted by preparation. Notice that what Martha was doing was not evil, as church activities are not evil. Rather, what Martha was doing was good. Nevertheless, Jesses says that what Mary had chosen was better. Although what people are doing may be good, the good could be bad when there is something better. So then, what is the problem of Martha? Like Martha, there is something within churchaholics that loathes activity. It can be defined as desire for achievement. This desire gradually begins to take an addictive turn. At this time, churchaholics believe that what they achieve is who they are and that it determines their value. That is the illusion of achievement. They begin to believe in what they have done instead of God. In turn, achievements provide for them a false presence of God. In this way, achievements can be a powerful idol. Especially, ministry can be a haven for the workaholic. In most jobs, overwork feels sinful, but when serving in ministry, overwork can feel deceptively holy. In this sense, ministry can attract workaholics, those who find their worth in their work and cannot escape it. Ministry can give them a reason to wrongly justify their addiction. Given this fact, in order to overcome churchaholism, Christians should find their worth in the quality of who they are, not in what they are doing in the church. The next step to overcome churchaholism is to correct a false doctrine about ministry. When people speak of ministry, they usually refer to doing church activities. However, the biblical answer to the question, "What is ministry?" is much more inclusive. According to Darrell Johnson, ministry is not something we do for God, but God does through us. The call to ministry is the call to minister with God, not a call to minister for God. It is a call to enter into the creating and saving work of the Creator. As such, ministry is something every Christian does in relation with God, and it is not limited to a certain group of people. How then can ordinary Christians live as ministers in the workplace? The majority of Christians have difficulty in finding the right balance between work and church because most churches place more emphasis on church life. Most churches bid people to come and hear the gospel in the holy confines of the church. This is because they assume that church is the only place to learn about God. In turn, most churches' focus for ministry is not the church in dispersion but the church gathered. At this point, the gathered meeting of the church fails to adequately prepare for re-entry into the world. In addition, if the church limits God's agency in this world to particular times and places that the vast majority of not yet Christians have no desire to attend, then ministry is effectively hobbled. The only true picture of the church is a moving picture, a daily gathering and then dispersion. In this picture, the word diaspora, the church dispersed, is a useful companion to the word ecclesia, the church gathered. It is like the rhythm of the blood gathering for oxygenation in the heart in order to be pumped to the uttermost parts to fight diseases. Through diaspora and ecclesia, the real work of God is done. However, nowadays the diaspora is undernourished and cannot function in the world. In this situation, as Michael Frost says in The Shaping of Things to Come, God becomes mute to the vast majority of people who cannot interpret the church culture. What then is the cause of this situation? Christians tend to assume that if members are sufficiently nurtured in the church, they will reach out to others in the world. And yet, nurture takes place by liberating Christians to do ministry in the world. It comes as a byproduct of being involved in ministry for the world. When Christians realize the principle, they can put emphasis on diaspora as well as ecclesia, based on a balanced emphasis. Christian working people can find the right balance of working lives and church lives. Until now, we have considered the matter of the churchaholism. Of course, I am not suggesting that it is meaningless for Christians to do ministry in the church. However, when Christians' focus for ministry is only the church as gathered, they will lose the benefit of Christian working people infiltrating the workplace. If non-Christians will not come to us, Christians have to go to them. The real ministry of God is done by the church members in the world.